The AFC South will end like this: one Texans, two Jags, three Colts, four Titans. I agree with this. I can get with this. I think the Texans make sense. They're looking very good. They're looking awesome. CJ Stroud's looking awesome. I think CJ Stroud has put himself in the lead of the MVP race after yesterday. He's not even like he's a rookie. It's like he's been playing for like 4 to 5 years. He's in his prime. That's what it looks like. Stroud is killing it. He's got the second most yards in the league. He's got 15 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a 101 passer rating. He is on his way to having the best rookie year that a quarterback has ever had. Now, you could recall Patrick Mahomes' year, but his first year wasn't technically his rookie year. He sat for a year, played a little bit his rookie year, like a half or so. And then, of course, he burst out into the scene the next year. But technically, this is the best rookie campaign we have ever seen from a quarterback, and that's including Andrew Luck. He had a phenomenal year, but I think C.J. Stroud is doing a little bit better. He does a little bit more than what Andrew Luck had, but C.J. Stroud is still killing it. He's got great weapons, good. It seems like the offensive line is getting better. He knows how to step up in the pocket. He can run a little bit if you need him to. They're still trying to get the run game going, but I think they will eventually get it going. We'll see. That'll be vital into, getting some real big time success late in January, if they do get to that point. But I 100% see the Texans win this division. The Texans are hot. The Jaguars were, but they just got smoked by the Niners, and the Niners are a good football team. And they did just lose to the Bengals 2 weeks ago because then they had the bye. Niners come out of the bye. They smoked the Jaguars. The Jaguars just don't really hit me as a great football team. They're good. They're mediocre. No, they're a little better than mediocre. They're good. They're a good football team, but they're not great. The Texans, I think they have a little more greatness to them because of the quarterback play. I think the weapons are more consistent. You may not have a Calvin Ridley or Christian Kirk, but Nico Collins and Thankyou, they've been just fine, if not better than those two. The running game, like I said, the running game isn't really there, which can hurt them. But, and then you look at their defense. Their defense is going to give up points. They're going to give up yards. But it's a playmaking defense. They're going to get turnovers. They're going to force fumbles, get interceptions, pressure the quarterback. And, getting some turnovers and giving the ball back to your offense, which has been absolutely phenomenal with C.J. Stroud. I think, that's a recipe for success. That's a winning recipe. As long as they can get the run game going a little more, I think the Texans are going to be a very good football team down the stretch here. And the Texans also have a bit of an easier schedule. Hold on. Let's go to the schedules for the Texans and the Jags, because I don't think the Colts are in it. I don't think the Colts will win the division. I don't really think they're going to make the playoffs either. They're 5-5, but their offense is getting figured out. They only allowed the defense allowed 19 points in the last two games, something like that. But they played two really bad offenses, and down the stretch here, they're gonna play the Bengals, they're gonna play the Texans again, they're gonna play the Titans again, which that's winnable. You're gonna play the Bucs, who have a really good defense, and the Shane Steichen offense is starting to get figured out. It's starting to come down to its talent level. It's starting to show its talent level that this offense is not very good. They could have good weeks, they could have nice weeks, especially if they get that run game going, but. As we just saw last week, they couldn't get the run game going, and as a result, it wasn't. The offense sucked. It was bad. Gardner Minshew was happy feet. He's not a really good quarterback. Then last but not least, he had the Titans. They probably belong at 4. I think all these other teams, the Colts, Jags, and Texans, I think they're all clearly better than the Titans now. The Colts and Titans are a little closer than the leap from the Colts to the Jaguars, the Texans even. But the Colts and the Titans, I think they're pretty close, but I think the Colts are a little bit better. I think the coaching is a little bit better right now. You have a better run game. The defense isn't as good. It's take it for what you will. I'm taking the coaching over what the Titans have right now. So and then let's look at the Texans and Jaguars schedules remaining opponents. So the Texans play the Cardinals, the Jaguars, the Broncos, the Jets, the Titans, the Browns, the Titans again, and the Colts. So I say they beat the Colts the second time around. I say they beat the Titans both times. We could see an upset there. It seems like the Titans and the Texans always play really close games. All right, then you have the Browns. Let's say you lose to the Browns. The Browns have been killing it, but I mean, They just played a really, C.J. Stroud just played a good C.J. Stroud just played a really good passing defense on the Bengals, still killed it. Then you have the New York Jets. Take that for what you will. They have a really good defense. Offense is not very good. They should win that. They have the Broncos. We'll see how the Broncos look by them. They just beat the Chiefs and the Bills back to back in Arrowhead and in Buffalo. So that's impressive. Can they keep it going? And then you're playing Jacksonville. I see you beat Jacksonville again. I think the Texans are the better team than Jacksonville. They have a playmaking defense. They can get pressure on the quarterback, and the offense is much more consistent and much better than the Jaguars' offense. So I'm taking the Texans to beat the Jaguars. Arizona, that could be a close one. In all likelihood, the Texans could win out. The schedule is very winnable. You just beat the Bengals. You beat the Jaguars early on in the year. There's no reason why they can't win out. But odds are, they're going to slip up. They're going to have tough games, or they may struggle a bit in some games. But if they do lose a game here, I will say it's to the Browns is most likely, or one of the Tennessee games, because it's a divisional game. So the Texans winning is very likely. Very likely. And then the Jaguars' remaining schedule is not as easy. They have Tennessee, Houston. They still play the Bengals. Then they play the Browns. And then they play the Ravens. 3 weeks in a row. They play the Bengals, the Browns, and the Ravens 3 weeks in a row. That's a tough stretch. And they just got slaughtered by the Niners. And those are three really good teams right there. Are they going to be able to put together a performance to beat at least one or two of those teams? They're all AFC teams as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. All AFC teams. You lose to all those AFC teams, it's going to be tough. Jaguars. You have Tennessee and Houston. Of course, they should beat the Titans. Houston, I'm taking Houston. I think they'll win that one, but you never know. It's a divisional game. Tampa Bay, they should win that one, but Tampa Bay's defense is snaky. The Panthers, and then the Titans again. So the Texans have the easier schedule, the easier remaining schedule, by just looking at those teams. I'm not going off of technicality or looking at everyone's win and loss record, because every team changes from the beginning of the season to now. Every team is different. From the start of the season to about mid-season where we are now. We're starting to transition into the end of the season here in a couple of weeks, but regardless, the Texans, they're only getting better. The Colts, they're not really there. They may be 5-5, but don't let that record fool you. Their offense has not played well, even though they're high in terms of points scored per game, but they're not really there offensively. They played the Bucs. That's probably a loss. You play the Titans again. That's going to be a tough game. We'll see if they could sweep the Titans. The Bengals, that's probably a loss. The Steelers. Fun fact, the Colts haven't beaten the Steelers since 2009. Then you have the Falcons. That'd be a tough one. The Raiders. Raiders are looking pretty good right now. And now Houston. I wouldn't be shocked if the Colts only won two or three games out of that stretch. I wouldn't be shocked. I didn't even write down the Titans schedule because I don't see it. I don't see much in the Titans. They aren't a very good football team. But I think this is a great order. This is how I kind of see the rest of the, this is how I see the AFC South by the time it's all said and done. The Texans 1, Jaguars 2, Colts 3, and Titans 4. I'm going to go with cold. I think it's likely. I don't think this is too much of a hot take. I think it's cold. We're going to move the football in our meter down to cold.